Wanted to come and do a recap of 2018 before I get headed into 2019. I know it's a little late for before 2019, but wanted to get this out of the way before talking about any of 2019's plans. So I'm going to go over some of the projects that I got done and one that I did not. I don't know if you can hear Evelyn upstairs. She's playing with Bella, our border collie, which is one of her favorite things to do, but they both get kind of rowdy. So if you hear that, sorry, I can't do a lot about it, but we'll work around it. So let's get started. The last thing that I finished knitting in 2018, but probably the thing I'm most excited about, is my Weekender by Andrea Maori. I did it in a Brooklyn Tweed shelter in the wood smoke colorway. Let me just see which way it goes. So it's really large, because if you don't know, it has like a huge positive ease. It's supposed to be real slouchy, and like a big raglan sleeve. And I haven't blocked it yet, as you can probably tell, because this is where I switch from knitting in the round to flat knitting my stocking knit, and my purling is a lot looser. So I'm hoping that all those ridges are going to block out and it'll be more smooth like it is down here. But I love this ribbing in the shoulder and this kind of seaming that she does up here. So I'm super excited about this. And also this hem just keeps turning under, so I really do need to block this, but I've already worn it a handful of times because I just couldn't wait. But this is my first fully knit full-size garment for myself, and I'm super excited, and I have definitely caught the bug. Next week I'm gonna do my Make 9 plus everything else that I plan to do in 2019, and you will probably see that the majority of it is sweaters or garments of some sort. So I'm not the fastest knitter though, so I think 9 is really gonna push it, but we'll see what happens. But I really enjoyed knitting this. It went super fast as far as a sweater, just because it's so bulky and plushy, and I love it. I'm not a big re-knitter. I don't tend to re-knit patterns just because I am a slower knitter. I mean, not crazy, like my actual knitting isn't slow, but I don't get as much knitting time as I'd like, so it takes me longer to finish something. But this is something that I could see myself knitting again, because it goes so fast and it was an enjoyable knit, and I enjoy the finished garment so much that I could see that happening again. So yeah, this is Weekender by Andrea Maori in Brooklyn Tweed Shelter Wood Smoke. And I'm gonna try to get like a little thing that comes up with all the info, but I'm also gonna put it in the show notes, the description down below, and over on the blog. So if you miss any of that, don't worry, or if I really butcher a name, because that's something I will probably do. This other one, this is my smallest but most re-knit pattern of 2018. These are the little Acorn mittens by Yousling, and I used Yarn Bee Brushworks in silver. I just wanted something a little more washable and durable, but still had that nice cozy woolly feel to them. These are so cute, and I have a second skein in a slightly different color for Addie, because she loves these, and anytime Evelyn wears them, she wants to wear a pair of mittens. But I re-knit these. I didn't even rip them out because they're so small and they use so little yarn, that I have about 3 or 4 other mittens that I knit and didn't like, so then I had to redo them. Excuse me. And most of it was my issue, not the pattern, because I would miss like the section where it says to knit from the top of the thumb gusset. up to this little section for the top of the acorn. On one of them I missed that, so my mitten was only about this tall, and this whole section right here was missing, so that one was fun. And then another one I did knit according to pattern, and it just seemed, I tried it on Evelyn, and in the pattern they have you, right as soon as you finish this ribbing here for the cuff, you start the bottom of the thumb gusset. And I tried it on Evelyn and I just didn't like it because it kind of pulled the cuff up onto her hand rather than kind of leaving room for this area right here. So I re-knit it. I did another one and I think I added about five rounds maybe of just plain straight knitting in the round, to add a little more space here between the cuff and the thumb gusset, and I liked that a lot better. It seemed to fit her hand better. I did do the 2 to 3 and they fit her really well. She's a little on the smaller side and it did really well for her. And then I think after I got one that I liked, I ended up knitting another one wrong somehow. So I've got about 4 of these that are mismatched and misshapen. But I did finally get 2, so she has a little set, and she seems to love them, and Addie seems to love them. Because of their size and their age, I do think I'm going to do like a little I-cord string. I don't know if any of you guys ever had that when you were little, but the little string that goes through your coat sleeves so that even if you take them off, they just dangle out of the sleeves. That way they don't get lost, because I'd love to send her to school in them, but I don't want them to get lost. I don't care if they get dirty or worn, because that's what they're for, but I just don't want them to get lost. So those are the Acorn mittens. Super easy pattern. If you do them though, I would go ahead and go through and highlight all the portions because they're different sizing as you go, different sizing options. So I would just highlight, read it through, highlight everything that you need for this, because you don't want to be like me and have 4 misshapen mittens. So just a suggestion. This other one was also for Evelyn. It's the second sweater that I've knit for her, which I haven't knit Addie any sweaters specifically for her. I mean, of course she gets hand-me-downs of everything of Evelyn's, but she hasn't had her own sweater, so I will have one for her on my 2019 list. But this one I knit for Evelyn. She loves the show Daniel Tiger on PBS, and it's like an extension of the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood. So it's a good kids show. It teaches a lot of good stuff, but we watch it a lot. But Daniel Tiger, if you don't know, has a favorite red sweater that he wears every day. And so I thought that I would knit Evelyn her own red sweater so that she and Daniel could match. And of course, I knit it and she hasn't worn it once. Addie will put it on and enjoys wearing it. But Evelyn, I don't know what it is about it. She has 0 interest in wearing this sweater. So we'll see, but I'm glad that I made it. It's the R&R hoodie by Tanis Lavallee. I don't think that I'm saying that right, and I'm sorry. The yarn, I don't remember what the yarn was. Honestly, I just got it at Hobby Lobby because, again, I wanted something washable and durable, and it's the R&R hoodie. I knit it in a red yarn to match Daniel Tiger. These were really fun little set-in pockets. I've never knit pockets before, so that was fun. It was an interesting construction because you knit the sleeves or the pockets, and then you knit the sweater behind it up to match. And then the hood has this neat little construction to it. So this was a really fun knit. And she actually has this pattern, I think in all sizes, kind of a tin can knit style of, you know, itty bitty up to full grown adult. So even if this is something you'd be interested in for yourself, is pretty straightforward, fun, easy little knit. This was my first time sewing a zipper into knitting, so that was a little nerve-wracking, but overall it did pretty well. I did the one side and then I did the second side and it did not match up, so I had to take the second side out, but I only had to redo it once, and it was not as scary as I thought it would be, so turned out pretty well. The next thing I have is a sew and not a make. I didn't do nearly as much sewing last year as I wanted to, but this is one that I really wanted to get done, and I did, and I got it done by its deadline. Every year in February, ever since I was here, I've gone to this father-daughter dance with my dad, and now that Kyle and I have 2 girls, he's been able to come with us and bring the girls, so that's been really fun for all of us and to do another generation. So I had made Addie a dress summer 2017, and she was able to wear that, and then I made Evelyn one that I had planned on making. I planned them both at the same time and then didn't get around to it. So I literally came out under the gun. I think I finished it the day before the dance. And she's worn it a couple times since then. She wore it for her first day of school with a little sweater I knit her. Evelyn said she looked like a grandma, but I thought it was cute. But this is the Lauren dress. It's a Violet Field Threads pattern, and I really like their little dress patterns. And I should have ironed this. It's been hanging up in the closet, but I didn't iron it once it came out of the washer. So, and then the straps just cross, and then this is an elastic back. So as she gets bigger, if she ever gets bigger, that will still fit her. It'll more be a shortness issue. Cute little ruffle. And yeah, I really should have ironed this out, but this was super fun to make. It was more challenging than the dress I made Addie, just because there were a lot of areas where the seams got a lot bulkier, and so that was more of a challenge. And then I had a harder time attaching this little bodice portion to the skirt. As you can see here, I still missed a spot right here now that I'm looking at it. So, but it was fun. This is only the second garment that I've sewn, and the other one was Addie's first dress. So I've learned a lot just through these 2 dresses about pattern construction and clothing construction, and I've read some reviews on the Violet Field Threads patterns that some of them aren't traditional construction, like the way that they put their patterns together, but everything that I've done made a lot of sense to me, and their patterns are awesome because they have pictures and step by step by step. They aren't really assuming that you have a lot of sewing knowledge prior, so that's really nice to learn off of. So if you're looking for beginner patterns or something that you can make with less sewing experience, that's a good one to check out. And the fabrics on this are from Ivie Cloth Co. and Bethan Janine. Super cute, awesome fabric designers. I got this fabric off of Spoonflower, as I did the ones with Addie's, and I really enjoyed sewing with it. It was like a little bit thicker and more durable, didn't seem real flimsy, or like, you know, sometimes they're kind of see-through, or you can just see them wearing down and getting kind of threadbare real fast. This isn't, it's a nice thick cotton. This did, however, all this navy really faded in the wash the first time I washed it, and that was kind of disappointing. I probably should have washed it on cold. I just washed it regular, so that was kind of a bummer, but it still looks cute, and if you didn't see the before, you wouldn't really know. It would just look a little more like a faded vintage navy, I think. But I took a picture at the end of making and before washing, so I'll try to put that up so that you can see. Here, maybe I'll put it up here so you can see what that looks like. See if you can tell the difference. I'm sure it's different lighting, but anyways. And then the last finished I have were these super fun little plushies, and they are from a pattern called Knitted Animal Friends by This Is Suzy, and I just used a drops alpaca. I'm pretty sure that's what she recommended in the pattern, so I went ahead with that. And this is my first plushie pattern that I've done, and first time attaching eyes and all that fun stuff. So there's a little lion. He's pretty cute. His little mane is like you do a crochet technique for that, and so that was interesting. I'd never done it before, and I really wasn't convinced that it was gonna work, but it did. It worked out pretty well, so he's pretty cute. And then just a little embroidered nose and the little eyes. First time putting those on, that was interesting. So the thing with this pattern is all of the bodies are constructed the same, and then you do like the hair, or you know, the ears have little different patterns, just the different characteristics, but it's the same basic body pattern. So these were fun because they were so fast to make. Super satisfying, quick little knit. Then there's a bunny with his super long ears and his little hat. He's the first one I made. I think the lion was the last, but super cute, fun little guy. And then the last one, we have a Boston Terrier, and his name is Obi, like Obi-Wan. And he loves to eat the hard parts of stuffed animals, so like the hard little eyes or the hard noses, and so far he had done really well not getting into anything that I had knit, and then this poor little guy lost both of his eyes, but miraculously it didn't disturb any of the knitting. So this is a little bear, and he's got his little scarf here, and his ears are different. So he had little eyes just like the other ones, and then Obi ripped them out. And now he's been in my fix-it pile, and I'm kind of at a loss as to how to reattach the eyes. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to, you finish up here and just kind of close like the top of a hat. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to pick that out and try to finagle some little eyes down there. I'm really not looking forward to that, but I think that's what's gonna happen. If you have any better ideas, please let me know in the comments below. But because I've never had to undo something that I've 100% finished, bound off, you know, tied in all my ends. So I'm not sure. I think I can see some stuff I can pull at, but I really don't want to have to do any cutting or re-knitting. So he's kind of been sitting there for a while waiting. I did tack his little scarf down because I didn't want the knot to come undone or it to come off and get lost. So he was super fun and cute. I think I made him second. So that's all of the big projects that I finished in 2018. It wasn't a terrible year. I got 2 sweaters. one not full size, but you know, who's counting? And I did get some sewing in. I did have one project that I really wanted to finish and totally ran out of steam on halfway through the year. And that, let me grab it here, is my 1 year of stitches. And I got halfway. So I've got better pictures of this up on the blog. I did some close-ups of some of the stitching, but as you can see, I made it to June and I didn't even cut my threads yet. Yeah, I really wanted to do a lot of embroidery this year. Got on this huge embroidery kick, bought a bunch of books, stitch, you know, dictionaries for a variety of things to put in, and then I ran out of steam. And it was mostly a creative block. I just ran out of stuff that I wanted to do. The idea is that you do one thing every day, even if it's just one stitch, you know, one little French knot or one whatever. But of course, you know, I went full steam ahead at the beginning and wanted to do, you know, a little pictorial what happened today, or, you know, here's this whole decorative stitch I'm gonna practice, and totally burnt out of ideas mostly, and time. I didn't make it super convenient for myself. I kept it packed up. I thought that if I had it in a bag where I could, you know, take it to work, or hopefully nobody from work is watching this, but where I thought it would be more portable, that I would be more likely to grab it and work on it throughout the day. And that is not what happened, because then I wouldn't have the right color thread with me, or I would have forgot to grab it for the day. So I did pretty well up until about May, June, and then I started falling behind, and I'd end up catching up a couple days at a time, and then I'd catch up a lot of days at a time. And I had a little note of, you know, oh, today I took the dogs for a walk, so I could put that in 3 weeks when I get to it. So kind of lackluster there. I did really enjoy it. I learned a lot of embroidery stitches and what I was good at and what I was really not good at, which was more. And honestly, this is something that I would probably want to finish. I really love the look of it. I love the idea of it. I just don't think that daily was realistic, and I think that it kind of overwhelmed me. Once I start to fall behind on something, I really get more stress and overwhelm and anxiety about the catch up and the getting back to it, and how did I let it get this far, and you know, so that's kind of what happened here on the blog, if you didn't watch my other video. But I would really like to finish it. I love the way that it looks. I love the idea of it. I have no idea what I'm gonna do with it. I left a lot of extra fabric around it so that if I wanted, I could, I don't know, make a pillow, put it into a quilt. At one point I had an idea to do this as like a center square in a quilt, and then do like a variety of blocks, like a sampler around it. If I was a huge quilter and that was all that I did craft-wise, I would have probably done like a sampler block from each quilt that I had made throughout the year, you know, like make an extra block while I'm doing the quilt, or you know, whether it's matching, coordinating fabrics for this, or just the same that was on the quilt, and then piece it all together into a quilt with this as the center. But that's not really what I do. I mean, I do quilt. I have made one quilt, so I quilt. But I don't make enough quilts to make a whole other quilt out of all of my blocks. So if you're a big quilter, though, it's an awesome idea for you to do. But yeah, so I think I might at some point go through the year. I do Project Life. I do, you know, everything on social media. So I pretty much have a pretty close to day by day of at least what bigger events happen, you know. I mean, of course, I'm not gonna be like, hey, I ate 3 carrots today, go me. But, you know, bigger stuff, you know, activities that we do with the girls and stuff that happens. I keep pretty good track of that so that I can go back and put it in my project life 3 years later. So I might go back and just kind of write up for the second half of the year some of the stuff that happened month by month, put those in, and then just do some filler stuff to kind of even it all out, because I do really love how this was looking, the idea of it, the like sampler variety of it. I think it'll look awesome if I can get it finished, but who knows when that will be. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not the best at doing stuff when you're supposed to do it. So we'll see what happens with it, but I did enjoy it. It was fun to do. I've got a lot of good memories in here already. This right here, right, oh, there it is. This is a podcast that I started listening to called My Favorite Murder. If you don't listen to it and you're a true crime fan and you're not afraid of cussing, check this out, because it's in my embroidery and there's a sticker on my car. That's how good it is. But yeah, so that is all of my 2018 makes and didn't make. For a full list of everything I had planned on doing for the year, check out the blog post. It's also going to have, like I said, all of the pattern and yarn information for all the stuff that I did do, as well as for my one sewing project. So check that out. Let me know in the comments below, over on the blog, on social media, anywhere. Let me know what your favorite 2018 make was, because I need a lot of inspiration for 2019. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you later. Bye!